Wait! We've been waiting for you.
You guys smell something?
What does it take to kill a 6-year-old world record? Usually, it's one big discovery. But for sleeping dogs, it was death by 1,000 cuts. In early 2025, the scene went from dormant to active overnight. Fresh eyes found things the veterans had missed for a decade. And because of it, the speedrun for sleeping dogs became way more enticing to run. Hey, I'm Riekelt, and I want to tell my story about how I was at the dawn of a total overhaul for the speedrun of Sleeping Dogs.
You must be a very dangerous man, Wei Shen.
Released in 2012, Sleeping Dogs is far more than just another GTA clone. Originally conceived as a successor to True Crime New York City, Square Enix went all in on the project, recruiting a star-studded voice cast including Emma Stone and Lucy Liu. While it shares the DNA of an open-world sandbox, the game trades Los Santos' gun culture for the brutal, close-quarters combat of a Yakuza title. Because guns are strictly regulated in Hong Kong, they aren't something you buy at an ammunition, they're tools provided specifically for the job. This gives the game an episodic, linear flow that's perfect for a fast-paced story. And while the world is packed with side content, from drug busts to gambling and cockfights, those are not too important for the speedrun. The structure of the speedrun follows the game's narrative arc perfectly. The early game is all about the grind, playing the role of a lowly pawn for Winston's Water Street gang while balancing undercover police work.
Well, that's for me to decide. You mean Pendrew.
But everything changes at the midway point during the wedding. After that, the police missions fall by the wayside as you rise through the ranks of the Sun On Yee. It shifts from street-level brawls to high-stakes revenge, culminating in a final push to purge the gang's corruption. Gunplay doesn't even start until an hour into the run, but the real draw nowadays is that almost every mission has some form of unique speed tech. The biggest RNG factor we deal with, though, happens between those missions. In about half of the intermissions, we have to find a taxi to fast travel to the next objective.
Oh, no.
Did I die? While they spawn frequently, they aren't 100% guaranteed. Finding taxis fast is still an important part of the run. If we do find taxis fast, we do revert to our primal instincts. Ever since 2022, Sleeping Dogs was a once-a-year race for me. The scene was essentially dormant, but I loved the game too much to let it go. My real spark to running this game was early 2025, when I decided I wanted to learn this game and run it in BSG Annual 2025. I ended up roping in 3 fans, Lord Mouse, Ugyu, and Leo Kedron to learn the run with me for a race. Soon after, Tony Cadados and Captain Awesome joined the gang. We were all getting faster and had fun running this game where anything was possible. Outside of our group, Vroop was the only other top level runner keeping the flame alive and even had a run set up for GTA Marathon in April. Before I continue praising this run, I have to acknowledge the elephant in the room: the engine. Sleeping Dogs is built on a notoriously janky engine that we like to call the dog engine. Much like Yakuza's Dragon engine, it can cause some really bizarre behavior. This can cause some really fun things to happen, or it could cause a run-ending death seemingly out of nowhere.
One of Dog Eye's drug dealers to prove it. All right? It'll be my pleasure.
Uh,
Who the fuck is he? He's okay. What a whiz this guy. Yeah? Guess Son on me won't pick on anyone these days.
No! I saw this happening. Out of the trunk. I just need to get to Dog Eyes now. The problem is... Yeah, after you get in, just don't press W.
Yeah, just don't do anything because
I have done without any issue, but would not recommend it.
Cinema.
The cutscene starts, and then yeah, once you have gain control, it's fine.
You know, I've always moved forward in this, and I've never crashed. Oh, I didn't do anything, and it crashed.
Why did you mention it?
Why did I say anything? Welcome to Sleeping Dogs, everybody.
You don't have the.
He's not pulling over.
You're a gangster. Do something. Get out there and get him.
I have never seen us go down this bit. Oh my god.
Get that van. I'll follow you.
Shit!
All in all, we all got some better times, rapidly expanding our strategies, and thinking about how we can improve the run. And for that, I need to talk about the current world record that stood for 6 years. ICXD357 has been on top since 2019. While doing research for this video, I checked their strats and compared it to the current route. I was shocked how modern the run was. Or how behind times we were actually. Some of the strategies that we thought we improved were I actually just found again. This could be because the world record is hosted on Bilibili, which is a really slow Chinese YouTube. Some highlights for this run were the out of bounds moped in the parry tutorial for a faster night market, and the Ming fight skip to skip an entire fight in the third mission of the game. Next to that, ICXD also uses autoscroller skips to drive themselves to the end of those autoscroller missions, taxi storage so we can save a taxi in places without it despawning, and lastly the fact that we can hurt the final boss before the fight so that the final fight will only have one punch. All the difference with the route now are things that we actually found in 2025. Let's talk about changes we found this year, and no better place than entering the racing scene. The first race in this game for the hotshot police case. This race has two bigger skips. One is done at the start and skips about 20 seconds, but you need to be at top speed, that there is little wiggle room. ICXD, being the top runner, also does the second big skip in this race, which I dubbed the big boy skip. This skips 50% of the race, going over a barrier, but the way to do it is by ramming into a bench and hoping you get height and thrown over the barricade. After you get it, you'll still need to hit the end zone with very little wiggle room. Because of how inconsistent this is, most of us are not even attempting this trick nowadays. Instead, Captain Awesome came and introduced the Lil Boy skip, which only saves 4 seconds, but is a very consistent thing. But I feel that the next step for us is finding a consistent way for the big boy skip. Secondly, in the next mission, Listening In, we taxi towards the start of the mission and step into the marker. In the cutscene, we get mocked, and previously, we would always chase a guy, destroy them next to the kissing couple, and then run back to our racing car and continue on our merry way. We drive this car towards where we need to be. The game intends you to take an alternate route to the roof, but if you are on a phone call and then drive over the bodyguard, the game doesn't mind you harassing Duke and let you go up there a little bit faster by going there more direct. The big change that we found was grabbing the car immediately and driving over the mugger inside the park and drive over him at the same location. This definitely saves enough time that we wish we would have seen that way earlier. Later in the run, we hit a mission called Intensive Care. It's one of the most intense segments of the entire game. A massive hospital shootout followed immediately by a 4-star police escape. The standard play is to outdrive the cops or destroy the cars, but at a 4-star wanted level, the game forces the chase to last at least 40 seconds, after which the game stops forcing a police spawn in your vicinity, giving you a chance to outrun the cops. However, we realized we could end the pursuit early by using a mechanic we learned from an earlier mission called Popstar, the safe house strat. For this strat, we will drive to the nearby safe house, stand inside, and wait until the wanted level disappears. After this, there are a few locations where you can drop off Ricky, which is consistent for the safe house strat. Depending on how well you can escape, this tech is not per se faster. However, I would say that this is at least safer. The longer you're on the road, the easier it is for the police to shoot your tires and fail the mission. By not being on the road, we essentially take some bigger risk away at a cost of only a potential better Ricky drop-off point. Oh my god. One of the bigger 2025 findings is Ponytail skip, also found by Captain Awesome. It was already known that you could mash the exit car button at the start of the mission's auto-scroller to get you into the driver's seat and reach the end trigger faster. But historically, the part after that was a drag. You had to follow Ponytail through several buildings and finish him off with a tire iron. Now, we found we can just grab a fast car and drive directly to the final encounter spot. Usually, the game would fail the mission if you lose sight of him, but Spiderway can track him through solid walls. As long as you keep your camera pointed in his general direction through the buildings, that's all the game cares about. This saves over 8 seconds, even more with perfect execution. And the boss fight? Did someone say Carfu?
No, you would bring a tire iron here.
Yeah, normally we used to bring a tire iron, but 2 simple rounds like that is enough to take out Ponytail. Incredible.
Yep. A usage of the same glitch can be used in the Popstar chase. The first part of the mission is following Popstar in his car, and at one point drive ahead of him and get 250 meters away to despawn all traffic around him. Because we got X-ray vision, we can practically not move and watch him go 350 meters away, so that traffic ain't a problem at all. We will lose sight of him at one point, but he gets to the end point fast enough so that it doesn't even matter. Great time for a stretch. While the small skips were adding up, the biggest breakthrough of 2025 came from someone looking at the bigger picture. Halfway through this year, a fellow GTA San Andreas runner joined the Discord with interest in running this game as well. His name is Tyrion. After getting good and getting respectable times already, he had his eyes set on 2 different goals: routing and running 100%, and stepping backwards a bit from the monitor, looking into if there are any fundamental parts of the run we could use to speed things up. Since we are running the definitive edition of Sleeping Dogs, we have access to the DLC and therefore some outfits that have some unique perks. Tyrion focused on 2 that would completely rewrite some missions. First off, for the first half of the run, we'd be using the Sun Wukong suit. Next to greater strength, it gives you a power pole that breaks the defense of some enemies, causing fights to go by even faster. This will be very handy for the first half of the run, and for Buried Alive near the end, where there's a sizable amount of combat. This has been rooted in, but general consensus is that we skip the first half purchase, combining it with the actual game changer. Of course, I'm talking about the Seraph Industries armor, otherwise known as a Deus Ex suit. While it eats up 33% damage of all gunshots, the more important thing is that it gives you a gun when you purchase a suit. When bought during Final Kill, while it does create a giant detour, it allows us to transform the lengthy combat segment into a trivial piece of shooting some NPCs. Unoptimally, this saves more than a minute. After also skipping the auto-scroller, by putting Dog Eyes in a car, we can drive to the ending ourselves. That's all that has been found in 2025 until the end of about October. That's part of the actual run. There are also other strats that either haven't been tested enough for fireability or found uses for specific tricks. Examples are Null Yuki finding menu storage, taxi warps, and BLJs, where you store a location and then jumping back to a previous location when ledge jumping again. Tyrion also is still labbing, where recently it was found that if you leave a car somewhere, it will stay there. There's a few instances in the 80% run where that could be handy, but not implemented yet due to lack of timing, and it makes Hong Kong a ghost town, nullifying any possible time gain. With all of these tricks combined, and a healthy amount of pork buns, the runners got to gaming. That's a long one. Eat one.
to make sure 100%ness. I fought the law and the law won.
A man who never eats pork buns is never a whole man. You look like you could use a pork bun.
You're late.
On October 3rd, Tyrion officially ended the 6-year drought, beating ICXD's time by a thin 3 seconds. But this is only a sliver of their power. 14 days later, back in Hong Kong, they improved their time by a whopping 4 minutes to a 3 hour, 15 minute and 34 second time.
Get up, bitch. I'll get ready to split just in case the auto splitter doesn't do it. Fuck you! You got this. What you got in this here? You're gonna throw confetti. Well, I got it. Oh, I got some confetti. GG! You cut up confetti!
Very happy with this time. They left the category for now to focus on finishing the routing for 100%. But Tyrion isn't the only person shaking things up. There's another runner we need to mention, Matt David. They were initially interested in wedding percent, which is pretty much half of the any percent run. After him asking us what's so good about the second half, we succeeded in getting him at least interested in trying it out. So after getting a world record in wedding percent, he set his sights on learning and succeeding in any percent. His first ever run, a 3:29, which is an incredible time as a first PB. 9 days later, he PB'd and beat Tyrion's time, earning a nice, solid second place. But if Matt David and Tyrion were second and third, who was first?
Fuck off, Johnny.
A day after Matt David's first run, on October 22nd, 2025, Leo Kedron hit the 3:14:01.
And that is GG. That was so close to a 3:13.
Leo was also responsible for the first edition of the auto splitter, which a lot of runners eagerly use for their runs nowadays. Satisfied, they left because life got busy. But that didn't stop us there, because on November 1st, Matt David delivered a 3:13:30, crossing another minute barrier. It is believed that with current strats, a 3:12 is possible. But will we get it?
Could have been almost 2 minutes ahead. That's stupid. Yeah, it was. Oh, and the game crashed. Sure. Oh! Yo, I just scared the hog. No.
This is 27. They were following their favorite game since forever, but never started to run it since the world record stood still for 6 years. But now that the three Brits have proven that beating ICXD is humanly feasible, they decided to step into the arena. During November, there was a lot of learning and offline runs, but on November 30th, their first run was submitted to the boards, a free 15. This time is unbelievable, especially within 30 days. But 27 was just getting started. I wasn't kidding when we wouldn't see a free 12. 27 got a free 11 33, and then a free 09 32, and then a free 07 25, and that is without the infamous big boy skip. Ending it off, 27 got a 3 hour, 4 minutes, 4 seconds, and 0.4 centiseconds at the end of February 2026. And that is where the record stands today. 27 isn't trying to survive the Dark Engine anymore, they are taming it. Even more new players caught the scene, like Nikki, and returning from years of retirement is Bygones. And let's not forget that the two side DLCs that are both sub-hour might get a bit of love in the near future. And that is 2025 for us. Very eventful year if I do say so myself. This book hasn't been closed yet. I foresee that a more consistent big boy skip will be found to really shorten the first race lifespan. Riekelt from the future here. I'm actually interrupting this segment because while editing this, the Sleeping Dogs world absolutely exploded. Not only did 27 get a free 03 31 last week, Matt David came back and beat the record with her own free 02 15 the next week. The same day, we were jokingly talking about induction skip, which is what I'm calling big boy skip, and while in a drunken state, Bygone started playing and found a more consistent way only an hour later. By forward ramming the barrier instead of the fragile bench, the skip is now way more consistent. It's 3 seconds slower, but it's a run saver. With that new consistency, 27 jumped straight in, and not a day later, I think the biggest milestone we can get at this point has been achieved.
It's cool, Mrs. Jordan. I already ate. I should be chairman.
Two 59:22. The first sub 3 hour, a fitting end of this video. Next to that, both Noyuki and Bygones are looking into being able to get into the final mission way earlier than intended via the social hub by, well, pretty much confusing the game. We're still early into talks and labbing into the specifics of this trick, but it seems this will be a New Game Plus run rather than the regular any percent. And only today is Yuki looking into how to advance voice lines and possibly having a karaoke skip. This is where the script ends. A lot has happened, a lot will happen, and it's still a really good 3 hour run if you're looking for anything. If you liked it, come say hi. And if you liked the video, please like it, I guess. I want to do more of these kind of videos. This is the first one for me. Thank you so much for watching. And let's meet back in Hong Kong.